Mr. Gao, welcome to the program, China-Pakistan Strategic Partnership. Now, Pakistan and China have described the relationship as higher than the Himalayas, deeper than the oceans. Today, that bond is now being strengthened by shared strategic goals. I'd like to understand something very important. This relationship that Pakistan and China have had, that has stood the test of time in moments of isolation and pressure, how does Beijing evaluate Pakistan's role today as a reliable regional stabilizer at a time where geopolitical polarization is intensifying?
Thank you very much. It's a great honor for me to be on your program, and I treasure this opportunity to speak to our brothers and sisters throughout Pakistan. China and Pakistan are truly ironclad friends, and our cooperation not only goes as high or higher than the Himalayas, our cooperation goes all the way to space. And as we speak, there is a Pakistani taikonaut being trained for a space mission to come. And I think this is just one demonstration of the scope and the depth of the cooperation and friendship between China and Pakistan. I would say there will be nothing that China will not do to help defend the Pakistani sovereignty and territorial integrity. And China is fully prepared to share with the Pakistani brothers and sisters the best weapon, the best information, the best system that Pakistan may need to defend itself against domestic enemies or foreign enemies. This is not only a commitment, this is something we are doing right away. And I hope through China-Pakistani friendship and cooperation, the ironclad commitment to each other, the South Asian region itself will be a more peaceful place, a place where the Pakistanis and all the other people can commit to peace and stability and development and promote regional cooperation and integration better. So there is a lot of things that China and Pakistan can work together. And we were brothers and sisters in the past. We are true brothers and sisters now. And for millenniums to come, we will remain ironclad friends with each other.
The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, Victor Gao, remains a central pillar of Pakistan's economic revival strategy. How does China view the phase 2 of CPEC, especially Pakistan's focus on industrial zones, technology transfer, and agricultural modernization? And how soon do you feel can ordinary Pakistanis feel its tangible benefits?
Well, you may know China is really focusing very much on what we call new qualitative productivity, meaning every increase in efficiency and productivity need to be generated and driven by science and technological breakthroughs. For Pakistan, it is the same case. I think Pakistani governments and people will really devote on science and technology, especially when the whole world is being transformed and transformed through this AI revolution. I coined the term AI divide. Never find yourself on the wrong side of the AI divide. And AI should be open sourced, and every country should have a chance to participate in the AI transformation. And for Pakistanis, it is the right time to really get your sleeves rolled up and get fully involved in this AI transformation and do it in an open source manner so that everyone in Pakistan will be able to participate in this. Only through this technological transformation will Pakistan be in a better position to fight off poverty, for example, as well as uplift people in all areas, including agricultural reform, industrial progresses, manufacturing excellence, and more importantly, equal opportunity for education for all and excellence in science and technological innovation. In this regard, again, China and Pakistan should stand shoulder to shoulder and back to back when we are together working for innovative excellence in all respects, including in this AI transformation.
Now, Pakistan faces an India that is not only militarily expanding but also revising history, borders and diplomacy. Does Beijing believe that India's expansionist mindset is now a structural challenge to long-term Asian peace?
Well, one thing I find troubling is that India not only has territorial disputes with Pakistan or with China, but also has lots of other problems with almost all of its neighboring countries. In this regard, I would appeal on the Indian government and Indian people to use more rationality and more reason and more wisdom in dealing with its neighboring countries and come to amicable solutions of any and all territorial disputes with its multitude of neighboring countries, including with China. I've told people in India never treat the McMahon line drawn up by a British as if it were the final and binding border between China and India. China will never accept that, and China and India need to come to the negotiation table to talk about how to resolve this territorial dispute in amicable means, in peaceful means, rather than otherwise, because China has already forced Britain to withdraw from Hong Kong and hand over Hong Kong back to China. China has overturned all the unequal treaties that the British Empire imposed on China, historically speaking. So how can anyone in India imagine that they will be in a position to impose something not done by the British Empire, not done by the British Indian Empire, but simply drawn by a middle-class British officer in the service of British Indian Empire, as if that's something that China need to swallow or China need to be forced to accept. Now, I use this as an example to show that the government and the people in India need to be more realistic. They need to deal with the new realities in the world of today. And countries like China and Pakistan, individually or together, will never allow our sovereignty and territorial integrity to be encroached upon or threatened or violated by the Indian government and the Indian.
Victor Gao, we have seen strategic coordination between Pakistan and China on border stability, on security doctrines and deterrence. In your view, how essential is Pakistan's military and strategic balancing role in order to prevent South Asia from sliding into uncontrolled escalation?
Well, in South Asia as a whole, I think there are many threats, including, for example, terrorism and fundamentalism, especially those spilling out of Afghanistan. And Afghanistan has 6 neighboring countries, including both China and Pakistan. So I would urge that all the 6 neighboring countries of Afghanistan to come up with some collective framework so that we can deal with Afghanistan better and drive home the message that Afghanistan really needs to come up with a strategy for peace, stability, and a good neighborly relations with all its neighbors, including Pakistan. And Afghanistan should never be allowed to become a cradle of violence, extremism, terrorism, spilling over in multiple directions, either into Pakistan, and I understand the Pakistani military and the government are dealing with the pressure points along the Afghan border, or into China's Xinjiang Autonomous Region. I think this whole region should be a better region if Afghanistan is more acclimated to peace and stability and development. And in return, all the 6 neighboring countries can join hands together in helping the people in Afghanistan to upgrade themselves, to improve their living standards, and make sure that no one in Afghanistan will be left behind. And the root causes of terrorism and fundamentalism in Afghanistan can be addressed once for all.
All right, you talk of Afghanistan, Victor Gao. China has consistently supported Pakistan's right to defend itself against terrorism emanating from the Afghan soil. Now, how does, in your point of view, Beijing assess the willingness and the capacity of the interim Afghan government to control militant groups, particularly the TTP or the Fitna al-Khawarij?
Well, there is a framework involving China and Pakistan and Afghanistan in a tri-party discussion and negotiations. That tripartite framework hasn't been very effective, especially in preventing the armed conflicts around the Pakistani and Afghanistan border, which is unfortunate. But I don't think we should give up hope. I think China can really play good office roles for the benefit of peace and stability and development, not only for Pakistan, but also for Afghanistan, and also for the bilateral relations between Afghanistan and Pakistan, to make sure that this whole region will be freed from terrorism, fundamentalism, and radicalization, for example. And I truly believe all the neighboring countries of Afghanistan, including Pakistan on the one hand, China on the other hand, and the other 4 neighboring countries, should join hands together to make sure that the message of peace and stability and development will be driven home to the Taliban leadership in Kabul, and the whole country of Afghanistan will be transformed into a peaceful country committed to maintaining domestic stability and international peace, living on equal terms with all its neighboring countries, and also really free itself from any elements of radicalization and extremism. That will make the Afghan people better and enable them to enjoy the benefits of modernization and industrialization and urbanization like people in all the other 6 neighboring countries are enjoying. And hopefully our region itself will be more peaceful and more stable for the benefit of all the people in this part of the world.
Now, the TTP issue is not only a security threat, but a strategic threat to regional connectivity projects like the CPEC and Belt and Road routes into Afghanistan. What joint political pressure or regional guarantees do you feel could be realistically mobilized to change ground realities?
Well, I'm always an optimist. When I look at Afghanistan, in the best case scenario, Afghanistan can really be a connectivity hub, linking from the east to the west, for example, from the Wakhan corridor in China all the way to Iran in the west, and then from north to the south, linking Central Asia through Afghanistan to Pakistan and then down to the Indian Ocean. In that capacity, Afghanistan can not only play such a useful traffic hub for all the neighboring countries and beyond, but also generate huge amount of profit and income for the benefit of the Afghan people. Now, how can you achieve that? You need to maintain domestic stability inside Afghanistan. And Afghanistan should no longer be generally taken as a haven for all kinds of terrorist groups. And Afghanistan should commit to stability at home, peace with its neighbors, and commitment to development as the hard truth. Now, that will involve sometimes a change of mentality, a change of looking at yourself as well as all your neighboring countries. But I think if the goal is to make sure the Afghan people will enjoy all the benefits, I truly believe the Afghan people will have no reason why not to promote peace and stability and development, and why not to engage with all the neighboring countries for peace and for prosperity with all. That is the challenge for Afghanistan. That is the challenge for all the 6 neighboring countries of Afghanistan, including Pakistan and China, and that is the challenge for this whole region. We need to do our homework to make sure that this part of the world will be a peaceful, stable region dedicated to development for the benefit of all the people in our region.
Now, if Pakistan and China stay aligned in your point of view, Victor Gao, strategically, economically and diplomatically, as we've seen since the last few decades, what new regional order do you believe will emerge in the next decade?
Well, according to my personal vision, this region should be peaceful and stable and committed to development. And this region as a whole, as well as in pockets of these regions, for example, inside Afghanistan, this region as a whole should be free from radicalization, extremism, and terrorism. And we need to come up with a scheme and a framework to root out the root causes of terrorism and radicalization. And I hope all the kids in this region will enjoy going to school. They will learn things. Boys and girls will go to school together. And there will be no reason to deny education to the girls inside Afghanistan or outside of Afghanistan. We need to come up with a minimum standard of governance for all the countries in this region, and on top of that, all countries in this part of the world should look at each other as an equal. No one should have unjustified territorial ambition against the other. No one should be justified in denying the integrity of sovereignty as well as territorial integrity to the other side. And this whole region being more integrated for the betterment of the people in this region should become a shining example of industrial excellence and innovative breakthroughs for the benefit of mankind as a whole.
Victor Gao, how does China view the relationship between Pakistan and the US?
Well, China will have no problem if Pakistani-American friendships are developed for their mutual benefit as well as for global peace and stability. So I think the Pakistani government and other people are sophisticated enough to handle this very carefully to achieve the best case scenario for Pakistan. That is better relations with the United States, continued friendship and solidarity with China.
Now, economic technology access is the new battlefield. In your point of view, how can Pakistan and China work together to develop joint technological and digital capacity?
Absolutely. I think the fact that China and Pakistan are jointly producing fighter planes is a good example of economic and technological cooperation between our two countries. And the fact that China is helping training a Pakistani taikonaut or cosmonaut is again a very important example. And the fact that Pakistan and China already cooperated with each other in the moon landing expedition, for example, and the extraction of the soil from the surface of the moon is another example. I hope such cooperation will be further expanded, and especially in the AI area, because as I mentioned, don't be surprised if you never find yourself on the wrong side of the AI divide. And in this regard, because China's leading position in this AI transformation, I hope Pakistan and China will really close rank and share everything we can generate for the mutual benefit of our two countries. In addition, China is the leading manufacturing nation in the world. China's manufacturing output is larger than the combined amount of US, Japan, and EU together. That means by closely cooperating with China, Pakistan can really benefit from some transfer of sophisticated manufacturing capabilities. On the other hand, China's appeal that Pakistan become more stable, and I hope the government, the people, and the military in Pakistan will really do a wonderful job in making sure that terrorism, or even sometimes influenced by foreign forces, will not be given a free hand in killing innocent people in Pakistan.
Dr. Victor Zikhai Gao, I've taken a lot of your time, so this is going to be my last question to you. How does China see Pakistan's role and strategic presence and posture in the region post the May conflict with India?
Well, the May the 7th aerial battle between Pakistan and India is the largest aerial battle in human history over the past several decades. And the evidence is very clear and generally acknowledged by everyone in the world except in India that there is only one winner and there is only one loser. And I told the Indian people on their channel that the winner is not India and the loser is not Pakistan. Now, on your very distinguished channel here in Pakistan, let me make the same point. Pakistan is the winner and India is the loser. And the fact that President Trump reaffirmed what I said on Indian television is very profound. And India need to really learn a big lesson, not only in terms of the lower quality of their military defense system, for example, but more importantly, about their attitude, how to deal with their neighboring countries and how to avoid wearing wars on their lips, and how to deal with Pakistan with dignity, decency, and equal treatment. This is what China looks at this whole aerial battle. And I think if there is any other country in the world which is excited about the victory of the Pakistanis, it is China, because the Pakistani military is using whatever that is jointly produced between China and Pakistan for our fighters. Pakistani military is also using China-supplied weapons and systems. And all this proves that China-Pakistani solidarity and cooperation has been tested in real fire and has proven to be a success story. And I hope in the coming years and decades, such China-Pakistani cooperation will be deepened and expanded. And we will reach a point where there will be no foreign enemies around Pakistani border which will dare to impose another war on Pakistan. And hopefully this will, in its turn, make sure that the South Asia region as a whole will enjoy more solidarity and prosperity and peace and stability. Now, this is a joint success and victory for Pakistan as well as for China. And the Chinese people are equally thrilled and excited about the Pakistani victory. Congratulations to the Pakistani people. Congratulations to the Pakistani armed forces.